The idea of a Bray Wyatt and a Harley Quinn, but she's not Harley Quinn, that works.
Yeah.
The only problem is what happens when you no longer have Bray Wyatt.
What's going on, everybody? Dr. Chris Featherstone here with my man, as always. Listen, this show was called Writing with Russo. And why in the world and how in the world can we have Writing with Russo without the man, Vince Russo? He's right there. How are you tonight?
I am good, bro. But I feel like doing this.
No, Paige, why are you doing this to you?
Because I don't know, poor Alexa Bliss. Bro, this is, bro, Chris, I want you to know, like, I'm really challenging myself with this one because literally as we come on here, I don't have the answers, and I know a lot of it is going to be thinking out loud, which usually gets me someplace. They got a real dilemma on their hands here with Alexa Bliss. And let me tell you from a writer's perspective what I see. Okay? First of all, obviously, Chris, we both know this girl has had a history of concussions.
Yes.
So it was probably a very good idea to take her out of the ring. Very good, especially at a young age. Bro, I'm just reading what happened to, Nicole Foley. Bro, when you're that young and this is happening, you got to get your butt out of the ring. So I'm giving the WWE credit, bro, because it looked like they were trying to protect her because she was suffering a lot of concussions. Then they had her do the moment of bliss.
Yep.
And the one thing I noticed, bro, with that was she was very good. She got it. She was natural. I would swear this woman takes acting lessons. She's that good. She's very, very good. And I always say in terms of that, Dr. Chris, like they get it. You either get it or you don't get it.
Right.
She gets it. She's a performer. I think she can perform anywhere. Forget wrestling. I think she could be an actress. I think she could be a performer. She's a performer. So somebody, bro, and maybe it was her, and it was probably her from what I see. Somebody had the idea of ripping off the Harley Quinn character from DC Comics.
Yeah.
Okay, now for those of you that don't know, and I know you know, I shouldn't know because I'm old, but I researched these things. Harley Quinn was basically Joker's girlfriend. Joker's sidekick. So the idea of a Bray Wyatt and a Harley Quinn, but she's not Harley Quinn, that works.
Yeah.
The only problem is what happens when you no longer have Bray Wyatt.
Joker, yeah.
Because you got to understand, like, Chris, this is Harley Quinn-esque, a very small female. This isn't the Undertaker whose eyes roll back in the back of his head and choke slams people. And Tombs, that's not what this is. This isn't a crazy mankind who has that the physical prowess where you believe this guy can hurt you. You don't have that here. This isn't Kane. This is a very petite woman. So now you've got she's kind of hung out to dry because what is she? It was never really established. I mean, she became, hypnotized by Bray Wyatt during her matches. She was like Alexa Bliss, but then all of a sudden, she put in the contact lenses and she's in some kind of a coma state. None of it made any sense. Then she's got the Undertaker black. None of it made any sense. So now, bro, Bray's gone. We still have this character. She's got Lily. Bro, we're kind of in no man's land now.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of dots connected really in with the tenure of what we see with Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. There were still, it just seems like there were still a lot of missing dots that just weren't. And they were trying to just connect a few dots, and they're missing a few over there. It wasn't any continuity there. You know, it was like you said, it was the hypnotism, and then there wasn't really a big explanation for that. It just was a lot. It was a lot of missing dots.
And then the way they got out of it, bro, with that pay-per-view, like, because, you know, like, so none of it is making any sense. Now, visually, is it cool? Yeah, bro, she's got a visual get up, the little doll. She's an attractive girl, the swing set. Okay, all that works.
Yeah.
But, bro, like, you can go one of two ways, bro. You can go one of two ways. You could either try to make sense out of this. And Chris, that is very hard in 2021 when you have Harley Quinn with the black goo and Lily and putting spells on people and fire and this and that, upset over her pet pig dying on social media.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't think the person I see on TV would care about her pet pig. I feel very sorry for Chris that her pet pig died. I'm not making fun. I feel very, very sorry. I know how it is with pets. I'm the worst.
For sure.
But you can't be this wacko on TV and now you're distraught because your pig died in real life, where there's a major misconnect.
Yeah.
So, Chris, we got a couple of choices here. We can try to make sense out of this, but can you? Especially with their writing staff.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, the only thing I could make sense out of is we find out she's into witchcraft and it's a modern day witchcraft type thing like the Brood was to the vampire lifestyle. I'm sure there's a witchcraft lifestyle, but that's not who she's portraying. She's portraying Harley Quinn, but you can't be Harley Quinn because that's a DC property. Right. So it's, bro, we're literally in no man's land.
I'm wondering if they could use the reality of the pig dying as more of like a softer side of her. You know, and so they have the social media and they have kind of like a softer side, because they kind of did that before. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think at this point it's really hard to get out of it, because the way that they broke her and Bray didn't make any sense to me. It was you built all this. He's gone for like 4 or 5 months, you know, away from TV. You're building up Bray just to be on top of this rise and have some goo come down, and that's it, you know. And it's like you confuse Bray, he gets RKO'd as the Fiend, and you don't see him again, you know. And so the promo was, I wanted to, you know, get to Dark Side and introduce Lily out of all that, you know. And it's like, out of all the 4 or 5 month build up, and even longer than that when she goes to the dark side, all this leads to Lily. And so I think the disconnect to me is when you think of the episodic television, and this has been months in the making, right now what we have, and, you know, you're talking, what, close to a year from the inception of this thing. Right now, at a state nearly, you know, 8-9 months later, it doesn't cause me to be more intrigued to dive into the storyline. It's kind of to the point where she might need to just do a hard reset, you know, and maybe the pig dying could help kind of cause a softer side. But it seems like there has to be a hard reset in her character at this point.
Chris, I tell you what I would do. I got to tell you, I think, you know, the old Desperate Times calls for desperate measures. We do know this. They have a very talented young lady on their hands who really we got to be careful about putting her in the ring at this point
For sure.
for health reasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm going to tell you a little story, and even the person involved does not have this story correct. Okay. And I'm going to tell you how I handled it. Okay. When I went to WCW, I adopted the 7 character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, 7 was Dustin, and that was a creation of Dusty Rhodes kind of came up with 7. I walked into WCW, they were doing the 7 character. Now, Chris, you got to understand something. I was going to say, if your last name is a Rhodes, I respect you, but that's kind of changed a little now in 2021. But when it comes to Dusty and Dustin, I respected what they were doing before I got there. So I'm going to go along with 7. No problem. I'm going to go along with this. Mm-hmm. So, bro, they cut vignettes, and if you remember, there were children involved in these vignettes
in their room, right? And he
yes,
would rise up.
Yeah, a window. I remember a window and all this stuff.
Yeah,
bro, standards and practices.
Yeah, S&P. They put the kibosh on it.
Dustin to this day thinks I put the kibosh on it. No, bro, I did not put the kibosh on it. I've told you a million times, standards and practices put the kibosh. So now we're in no man's land.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could do at that point was, Dustin went out there as the character and he cut a shoe promo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bro, I'm telling you, because I always tend to lean towards reality. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, bro, I have Alexa Bliss. Bro, listen, can we forget about the suspension? Bro, I think with the zombies, we can forget about the suspension of disbelief. Bro, when you've got heels crying in the ring after winning titles, I don't want to hear suspension of disbelief anymore in wrestling. Okay, zombies don't exist. So you threw that out the window to get a payday. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it anymore. I would love to see Alexa Bliss knock on Vince McMahon's door. Vince, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah, like out of the blue. You never see anything. No announces, no nothing. Yeah, man, I was just wondering. I've been off the show for a couple of weeks. Like, where are we going with my character? And have Vince literally say, well, I thought you knew. And her say, well, Vince, I did. And I laid this, that, and the other thing out for you. But unfortunately, Bray's had some problems. And, now you kind of got me out there with a doll. And I'm not really sure where this thing is going. And she's being very polite and very respectful.
Yeah.
Okay. And, Vince says, well, quite frankly, Alexa, you came to me with this idea of a Harley Quinn character. And Vince would say, I had no idea who Harley Quinn was, and neither do a lot of other people, because that's what Vince thinks. Like, Vince doesn't know Harley Quinn. He thinks nobody knows Harley Quinn. Yeah. And I went with you. I gave you carte blanche, and I usually don't give that to performers, this and that, and have her say, yeah, Vince, that's true. You did give me carte blanche, but as a performer, I have to rely on the writers on a weekly basis. And quite frankly, the writing has been the drizzling. You know what? I mean, have somebody say this.
Yeah.